And we're going to continue on with doing 11 through 15 of Module 1 practice test. 11. Determine which expression is one of the factors of the polynomial expression shown. Well, I need to first factor it to find out what the two factors would be. I need numbers that multiply together give you negative 12, but combine to give you the negative 1. Numbers I can think of are negative 4 and positive 3. One thing I like to do when I factor is multiply it back out just to make sure I factored correctly. X times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. And if I combine those two terms, I would get negative 1x. And I generally don't write the 1 when it is a negative 1. So the one of these that happens to be listed here is this one. Please note that x minus 3 is listed here. Be really careful when looking at your signs. Next one I'd like to go over is number 12. It reads, determine which number line graph shows the correct solution to the inequality below. Well, at a quick glance, I see greater than, no line, so I know my point needs to be open, so I'm going to cross this one out and this one. And now I'm going to look and try to solve this one. I'm going to combine like terms on the left. Negative 2x and negative 5x would give me negative 7x. And I'm going to write the rest of the inequality down. Then I will add 12 to both sides. When I do that, I get negative 7x is greater than 35. Then I'm going to divide by negative 7. And I'm hoping that you remember from Algebra 1 that anytime you divide by a negative, you flip that symbol to keep the statement true. So I'll say x is less than 35 divided by negative 7 is negative 5. So I need an open dot at negative 5, and I need my arrow going to the right, which would be, excuse me, I say right and I mean left. Less than means to the left, and that's letter D right here. 13. Determine which fraction is equivalent to this expression after simplifying. One thing you have to be careful of is don't just start crossing things out when there are pluses and minuses. You need to factor because you can only cross out things that are factors, meaning multiplied together. I'm going to factor the top. The numbers that multiply together give you 15, but combine to give you negative 8, negative 3, and negative 5. You might be wondering why they're negative. Well, think a negative times a negative is a positive. That's where we're getting the positive there. And on the bottom, multiply together give you negative 18, combine or add to give you 3. I'm thinking a 6 and a negative 3. Then I notice that the common factor that is on the top and the bottom is x minus 3, which leaves my final answer to have an x minus 5 on top and an x plus 6 on the bottom. Moving on to number 14. It says, Devin rented a car at a rate of $50 a day. He also had to pay 45 cents per mile. That's a key word, per mile driven. When Devin returned the car at the end of the day, he paid $111.20. How many miles did he drive? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. When it is multiple choice, sometimes I think it's a good idea to just check each one. It says he rented a car at a rate of $50 a day. So that's his base or starting amount. And had to pay 45 cents per mile. Per means time, so you need to multiply that by the number of miles. And it cost him $111.20. You could, 1, solve this equation, Or you could simply plug each one in to see which one gives you that total amount. If I plug in the 136, 50 plus 0.45 times 136, and I put that straight in my calculator, I love when this happens, it actually comes out to be the amount that he paid. When A is the answer, it's nice to try each one. And the last one in this video is number 15. It reads, compare the real numbers shown below. Which is the greatest in value? I don't know about you, but I have a hard time comparing them when some are fractions and you have square root. So what I like to do is type them in my calculator to find out what they are. For example, as a decimal, I should say. Square root of 62 is approximately or about 7.87. This line above it means repeating. But if this one had 2 decimals, I'm going to write this one with 2 decimals to play it safe. 23 divided by 3 is 7.6 repeating. And again, I'm going to do 2 spots over just to stay consistent. And this last one is a negative 23. Well, I need the biggest one. Well, you know the biggest one can't be the negative because that's really small. So now I'm going to look 7.87, 7.77, 7.66. Which one's the biggest? Clearly, this 87 here on the end is the biggest, which makes square root of 62 my biggest one.